If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 121 New Streaming Mission. Am I playing myself? Funny thing, if you trace this all the way back, the real start of this passerby business wasn't today at all. It began, what, a day and a night ago? Right around the time Cynthia picked up that call from the archaeology team. The sun that day was the kind that makes you lazy. It slanted through spotless restaurant windows and hit the oak table like someone had poured warm honey across it. Kairos was halfway through a quiet meal, the last bits of sauce already scraped from the plate. Texas-style ribs, gone. Not a bone left. /N, I want some ribs. He'd hired one of those chefs with the kind of reputation that makes food critics cry mid-bite. The man wasn't cheap, but worth it. The food was good. Actually, scratch that, it was great. Even so, Kairos had the sneaking suspicion he might cook better himself. Maybe it was arrogance. Or maybe just the truth. If he hadn't stumbled into this whole system mess, he could have opened a little restaurant somewhere. A small sign, late hours, regulars who call him boss. Yet, not a bad life. He laughed under his breath. Too late now. The system had chosen him, and apparently, his destiny was game development. His gaze drifted down the table. Chandelier's red flames flickered softly, giving off a faint tick-tick sound, like a candle thinking too hard. One tendril of light coiled around a pork rib and lifted it delicately toward its mouth. Across from it, Jengar was being, well, Jengar. Half his head was buried in a special bowl, scarfing down ghost-type energy food like someone might take it away. Ever since those two had tried his cooking, poke blocks had basically lost all appeal. If it wasn't made by Kairos, they didn't want it. He gave up arguing. Balanced nutrition, probably. Probably. Chandelier. The ghost floated in a small circle, its flames dancing in a rhythm that looked suspiciously like excitement. The meaning was obvious enough. Let's go out. The weather's perfect. Before he could answer, a round light green face shot up from the other bowl. Jengar rolled his eyes so hard they practically squeaked and grumbled something that sounded like, "Kakik, keek." If you translated that, and Kairos could, sort of, it was probably, "This guy. So strong, yet all he thinks about is playing. No ambition. No vision." Then, with the righteous indignation of someone making a point, Jengar went right back to eating. Definitely not because the food was too good to stop. No, no. He was conserving energy. Sure. By shoveling food into his mouth until his cheeks looked like stuffed balloons. Kairos couldn't help grinning. Teaching that one anything about game design would have to wait. Some days you pick your battles. He stood and brushed his fingers across Chandelier's flame crown. It felt cool, but alive. Go on, he said. Just stay out of trouble. The ghost let out a pleased hum and floated straight through the wall, leaving faint traces of red light in its wake. Kairos turned back toward the study. His new computer glowed softly when he powered it up. Log in. Back in system. And there it was, a number that made him sit up straight. Current sales volume, 116,402. Not bad. Tens of thousands in a single day. The promo campaign was paying off. He switched tabs, checking the new game festival rankings. Emerald gleamed at the top of the charts, most popular and total sales both, each badge shining like a medal. Perfect, he muttered. Expected, yes, but seeing it was still its own kind of thrill. With a flicker, the system overlay appeared. Main mission, Rookie Champion, S. Requirement, first place at the new game festival. Reward, emotion points, advanced modules, fancy loot. He schemed the rest. His first big mission. Less than 2 weeks to go until the final tally. Emerald had already demolished most of its competition. Second place was limping behind at half the numbers. The only name worth worrying about now was Dream Factory. Their new game hadn't started its full promo push yet. But soon. He could feel it. He scrolled further. Side mission, Sales King, S rank. Goal, 300,000 sales in 15 days. Progress, 116,402. Reward, item chest, invitation card, shock points. Plenty of time. 2 weeks meant he could hit that easily, especially if the festival ended with Emerald still on top. The post-event traffic alone could double his numbers overnight. What really caught his eye, though, was that invitation card. He'd been saving that in his mind for one purpose, Mutuo. He wondered, was Mutuo even born yet? The thought brought a ripple of childhood excitement, the kind that doesn't quite fade even when you've grown cynical. At the bottom, another glowing box pulsed faintly. Continuous mission, Pocket Empire, SS rank. Goal, 100,000 registered users on the Pocket League forum. Current, 25,600. Ultimate goal, 1 million hype value. Current, 1,100. Ouch. Kairos leaned back and cracked his neck. Not bad progress, 25,000 new users in a single day. The community was forming fast. Embedding the forum right into the game had clearly worked. But still, 1 million hype points? That was ambitious. He half wondered if the system dreamed bigger than he did. He opened the forum anyway. Instant noise. Colorful posts everywhere, each more chaotic than the last. Newbie SOS. Just left town and got crushed by a random Puchayana. Found a shiny Zigzagoon. Is this a bug? Pics inside. Torchic vs Mudcup vs Trico, settle it once and for all. Petalburg gym door bug. I've circled the building 3 times. Save your game. I didn't, and an NPC wiped my whole team. I'm crying. It was pure, messy joy. Confused first-timers bumping into the edges of a world they didn't know yet. Kairos smiled without meaning to. They reminded him of himself, back when he'd first stepped into that pixelated world full of monsters and dreams. Back when discovery meant everything. And then, ding, a system alert snapped him out of it. New side mission, streaming advancement, S. Reach 500,000 concurrent viewers. Rewards, the usual pile of points and treasures. 500,000. He repeated aloud. Guess we're going big. It had been ages since his last stream. He'd been buried in debugging and polishing. But sure, why not? He'd had a vague idea brewing anyway. He checked the player stats. Wait, no one had beaten the Fortree gym yet? Not even the top players? Seriously? He squinted at the leaderboard. First place, strawberry ice cream. Cynthia, of course. Still stuck at the Weather Institute. Close, though, he murmured. That gave him breathing room, no need to rush new content today. He could stream instead. The reveal thing? Not a concern. Most viewers wouldn't guess who he really was. To them, he'd just be another gamer trying out the hit of the month. Decision made, he launched his streaming software. The title was still set to Ranked Climbing on Battle Road, F2P style. Old habits. Before he could even adjust it, notifications started blowing up the chat. Wait, the streamer's live. No way. I thought he quit. He's back, my youth is saved. Bro, why are you still playing Battle Road? Try Pokémon Emerald already, it's #1 at the festival. Yeah. Play Emerald. You'll love it. You just wanna see him suffer, lol. The viewer count rocketed, single digits, then thousands, then tens of thousands. 20,000 in seconds. Still climbing. Kairos stared, blinking at the chaos of the chat. He'd seen his channel blow up before, but not like this. Whatever this was, it felt unreal. Chapter 122 The challenge begins. Looking at the rapidly refreshing chat messages in front of him, honestly, Kairos felt genuinely puzzled. At least 90% of the people in the chat were demanding he play Emerald. It seemed the game's popularity had really taken off lately. Kairos couldn't help but think that if he played Emerald now, it would undoubtedly be a chance to boost his stream's visibility. But why had his stream suddenly attracted so many people? Just as he was about to ask the chat to figure this out, a string of answers actually refreshed right before his eyes. Streamer. Your Battle Road video where you dominated the whale teams with 0 cash got turned into a highlight reel by Bill. It's super popular. Bill's latest Hardcore Moments episode is all about you, haha. The view count has already exploded. Streamer, when you're walking down the street, don't you feel like people are talking behind your back? Your underhanded tactics have left so many people stunned. Bill? Kairos was suddenly startled and searched through his memory. He did remember that someone claiming to be a video creator had contacted him before, wanting authorization for some of his Battle Road gameplay footage. He hadn't thought much about it and agreed since it sounded like a good thing. He never expected that person to actually be Bill. That top researcher from the original Pokémon world had become a content creator in this world? Honestly, this was pretty surreal. But hearing this, Kairos finally understood why his stream had so many viewers now. He spoke softly into the microphone. Well then, welcome to all the new viewers. Today's stream content will be a fresh playthrough of Pokémon Emerald from scratch. His mouse pointer moved across the desktop, decisively clicking on the icon that gleamed with emerald green light, Pokémon Emerald. Here we go. The delightfully predictable suffering segment. Good luck, streamer. Try to survive Route 101. Taking bets. How long before the youngster wipes out the streamer? Which starter will you pick? If you're brave, choose the hardest one. Trico. Ha ha ha. Kairos ignored the chat messages waiting for him to crash and burn, quickly creating a new save file and entering passerby as the player name. The Pokémon Emerald logo began appearing before him as the opening cutscene played. Looking at the familiar scene, Kairos felt somewhat nostalgic. It had been who knows how long since he'd first played this game, and he never expected to experience it again like this, especially with the Emerald version he'd personally created. But just as Kairos was lost in thought, boom! The entire stream screen was suddenly flooded with an incredibly dazzling golden light. A massive, ornately designed virtual crown accompanied by stunning system sound effects descended from above, filling the center of the stream. A string of golden text suddenly appeared. User Bug-type enthusiast has gifted streamer decent person Sinnoh Crown X10. 10 times in a row. A full 10 of the platform's highest tier gifts, each Sinnoh Crown worth 100,000 Poke dollars. The stream chat fell into an eerie silence, as if this sudden astronomical gift had stunned everyone. Then came a chat explosion even more intense than when the stream started. Holy crap! 10 Sinnoh Crowns? That's 1,000,000 Poke dollars. Are you insane? Which whale sent those? Damn, a golden crown user, first time I've ever seen one in my life. Worship the whale. Streamer. Thank them quickly. At the same time, due to the sudden appearance of this 1,000,000 Poke dollar gift, the streaming platform's recommendation system naturally kicked into gear. The viewer count surged again at a terrifying pace, instantly jumping from the original 100,000 to a high of 150,000. Kairos was also slightly stunned by this scene. To be honest, after Emerald sales took off, 1,000,000 Poke dollars wasn't really much to him now. It couldn't even make his heart skip a beat. What surprised him was why someone would suddenly burst in and send such high-value gifts. The next moment, he saw a conspicuous chat message with a special golden border slowly drift by, from that Bug-type enthusiast. Streamer, nice skills. Watching you play Battle Road was exciting. Since you're playing Emerald now, dare to add some difficulty? It'll be more challenging and make for better stream content. Don't worry, I won't let you work for free. 1,000,000 Poke dollars just to make a request? Kairos suddenly felt this was unexpected. Rich people's happiness might just be this simple and straightforward. What do you have in mind? The golden highlighted message appeared again, brief but igniting the entire stream once more. Since I particularly love Bug-type Pokémon, I want to see you clear the entire game using only Bug-type Pokémon. Before Kairos could react, the viewers in the stream went crazy. What? Only bug types? Well, you're not joking, right? Actually bug types. Bug types? Those things are famously fragile, have tons of weaknesses, and fall off late game, even in real life, right? Ha ha ha, boss, you're trying to kill the streamer. No wonder their reactions were so intense after all, as that middle comment said, Bug-type Pokémon in the real world were known for their various flaws and would never be a top trainer's first choice. And in Pokémon Emerald, it was even worse. The game's difficulty had been thoroughly proven through Cynthia and Iono's previous gameplay. Even when players could freely catch various Pokémon for help, the difficulty was quite high. If limited to only bug types, this would be completely unplayable. But just then, that Bug-type enthusiast's golden message appeared again, carrying the confidence that only the wealthy possess. Streamer, have you decided? If you accept the challenge and reach the game's current latest progress using only Bug-type Pokémon within 1 week, I'll gift you another Sinnoh Tower. If you complete it, I'll send another one. But if you can't do it, or use any non-Bug-type Pokémon midway, you'll have to return the previous 10 crowns and the promised 2 towers intact. If you don't think you can do it, I'm going to find entertainment in other streams right now. 2 Sinnoh Towers. At that moment, the chat completely lost it. The platform's most expensive gift, Sinnoh Tower, represented 1 million Poke dollars each. 2 towers meant 2 million. Plus the previous million in tips, a total of 3 million. All this money just to watch an all-bug type completion challenge? Countless messages flew through the stream. 2 towers. Whale Daddy. Do you need any leg accessories? 3 million to watch the streamer play games? My worldview has collapsed. Ugh, I hate rich people. Beyond the shock, the stream chat split into 2 camps. One side was here for the drama, while the other calmly advised Kairos to abandon this challenge. Streamer, stay calm. This money's too hot to handle. Yet. What if you accept and can't do it? You'd have to refund the money and lose face big time. Don't be impulsive, streamer. Bug types are genuinely weak. Can't wait to see the streamer get trolled by bug types until he questions life itself. Maximum entertainment value. Streamer. Accept it. Take the gamble. Gamble what? This is obviously a losing bet. How could bug types complete the game? Exactly, even Cynthia wouldn't dare accept this. The challenge level is maxed out. At this moment, all the pressure in the stream seemed to converge on Kairos. Countless eyes stared at him, waiting for his decision. Kairos looked at the golden challenge declaration on screen without even raising an eyebrow. All bug type completion? Challenging? Where's the challenge? Cynthia and the others found Emerald difficult because they were essentially facing a strange and complex world. For him, this was more like revisiting familiar territory with specific rules. 1 week to reach MT Chimney was more than generous time-wise. He'd expected this mysterious whale to propose something beyond conventional limits and hard to control, but instead it was this interesting challenge. This suited him perfectly. It would complete the system's streaming popularity mission while bringing highly topical content to both the stream and the game. Although viewers wanted to see him suffer with a bug-type team, what he'd deliver would definitely be something else entirely. So, amid the storm of don't accept, run away, money-crazed, and waiting for the crash messages, Kairos spoke 2 clear words into the microphone. I accept. These 2 words exploded like thunder in the stream. Holy crap! He actually accepted. He's lost it. The streamer's definitely lost it. 3 million. Streamer, you're confused. Is this money that easy to take? Haha, nice. That's courage. Just for that guts, I'm following. Why don't you trust the streamer? He dominated whales and pros with a zero cash team in Battle Road. Wake up! How is this the same? Even Cynthia would get stuck using a regular Pokémon team, and the streamer dares use all bug types? Big Sis Cynthia would give him a thumbs up for that. Front row seats ready with popcorn. Don't scare the streamer, haha. I'm still waiting for the show. The chat completely descended into chaos mixed with celebration and doubt. No one expected Kairos to actually dare accept such a challenge. And that bug-type enthusiast seemed satisfied with Kairos's decisiveness, leaving a golden looking forward to your performance message before going silent, quietly waiting for Kairos's display. Before Kairos, Emerald's opening cutscene had finished playing. This meant that now, the all bug-type completion challenge had begun. He smiled slightly, looking at the familiar interface before him, controlling his character as he stepped out of the moving truck. Chapter 123 An Unexpected Starter Pokémon. As Kairos stepped out of the truck, warm sunlight composed of pixel light particles slanted down on Little Root Town. He controlled his on-screen character standing in front of his house, and the familiar scene stirred some emotion in his heart. This was a world he'd built with his own hands, and one he knew intimately. Now, entering it again as a player, it had a different flavor altogether. The background music was a melodious music box variation, mixed with the clear chirping of Pidgey outside the window. The details were so rich that even he was surprised the system's technology was truly top-notch. You're awake? We finally moved to Little Root Town. How does it feel? A pixel-style mother figure popped up in a dialogue box at the center of the screen, her tone quite gentle. Kairos skillfully pressed the confirm key to skip the dialogue, controlling his character to quickly run upstairs. He could complete the alarm clock setup process with his eyes closed, and soon had the time set. However, just when all the viewers thought he'd immediately rush downstairs and out the door straight to the lab, his on-screen character made a sharp turn and walked directly toward the unremarkable computer on the left side of the room. A wave of question marks instantly flooded the stream. Streamer got lost. Set the alarm and instead of going downstairs you're just wandering around. 1 week, bro. 1 week to reach the latest story content. You have time to slack off. Don't tell me he's nervous and his hands are shaking, ha ha ha. Kairos ignored the chat's urgings, a barely perceptible smile playing at his lips. Playing Pokémon and not checking the computer at the start, what kind of person would that be? He positioned his character in front of the computer and pressed the interact key. Opened the PC. Logged into the item storage system. Withdrew a super potion from someone's PC. Withdrew a Pokeball from someone's PC. 2 system notifications clearly appeared. After a brief pause, the chat exploded. Holy crap! There's stuff in the PC. Free super potion and Pokeball. This is actually a thing. No way. I've restarted several times. Never knew about this detail. Dumb luck. Absolutely dumb luck. Streamer just stumbled onto it. Yeah, and it's just 1 super potion and 1 Pokeball anyway, can't save him. He'll probably get stuck on the rival for ages, haha. The word rival instantly triggered a stress response in many chat messages. Damn, can we not mention that demon? What rival? That's clearly the newbie village nightmare. Cynthia got destroyed 3 times before finding any strategy so terrifying. Haha, our sweet Iono was so cute, she almost cried when she got beaten up. True, so cheap. Level sync is bad enough, but it deliberately picks types that counter your starter. This design is just inhumane. While the chat was immersed in memories and discussions of their rival phobia, Kairos had already controlled his character downstairs and out the door, smoothly heading along the town's edge upward to cleanly help Professor Birch, who was being attacked by Puchina in the grass above Route 101. Following the story, the grateful professor invited him back to the lab to choose his starting partner. Inside the lab, 3 classic red and white Pokeballs sat in front of the professor. But Kairos's gaze directly bypassed them, landing on an inconspicuous option button nearby. I prefer the resilience of bug-type Pokémon, randomly obtain 1 bug-type Pokémon. The chat instantly perked up. Here we go. Bug-type mystery box. Gambling time. Streamer, hurry up and open it. Will it be some powerful bug-type Pokémon? Front row selling snacks and drinks betting on Scyther or Heracross. At this moment, as Kairos made his choice, light gathered at the center of the screen and a Pokeball slowly opened. When the light faded, a small, light purple insectoid Pokémon appeared in the center of the screen. It had a rounded head with 2 tiny antennae twitching slightly, its body covered in a thin, seemingly fragile translucent shell. 8 tiny legs were tightly curled up, and a pair of round black eyes timidly surveyed the surroundings, its body seemingly trembling slightly. The appearance of this Pokémon instantly left the chat collectively speechless. What is that? New species? Never seen it. Looks really pathetic. Kinda like a snail? Or a slug? Kairos's eyebrow also raised almost imperceptibly. He actually drew Wimpod? He certainly recognized this Pokémon. In the original Ultra Emerald, this was basically a freebie that every player could pick up right after leaving home. Low presence, extremely weak early game combat power, needing to evolve at level 30 before having any real fighting ability, and not much even then. In his own Emerald version, he'd removed that unreasonable setting and moved it to later maps. But why did his random bug-type selection have to pick this one? He opened the party screen. The display clearly showed Wimpod's information. Wimpod LV.5. Type, Bug/Water. Ability, Wimp Out, speed increases when HP is below half. Moves, Sand Attack, Defense Curl. Looking at this Pokémon's information, the entire stream fell silent for a second, then seemed to erupt with earth-shaking laughter as chat messages rapidly refreshed. Ha 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 ha. Sand Attack? Defense Curl. This move pool, more abstract than Magikarp. The last pure punching bag this pathetic was Magikarp. This is the streamer's luck. Disaster start. Why not restart? I think this run is already over. Yeah, pick bug type again, any other bug would be fine. What can Wimpod do? Perform defense curl to boost defense for the opponent? HHHH. Kairos glanced at the chat frantically trying to discourage him, then looked at the super potion and single Pokeball quietly resting in his item bag. This extra Pokeball Easter egg was something he'd casually planted, never expecting it to become his only lifeline now. He shook his head slightly, his low and clear voice carrying through the microphone to fill the stream. Don't worry. There are no weak Pokemon, only weak trainers. Even the bug types you look down on can surprise you. As soon as he finished speaking, he controlled his character to walk straight out of the lab without looking back, heading toward the grass leading to Route 101 above Little Root Town. Almost simultaneously, golden light exploded in the stream as familiar dazzling effects once again dominated the screen. User Bug-type Enthusiast has gifted streamer Decent Person Sinnoh Crown X5. Bug-type Enthusiast, keep it up. Another 500,000 Poke Dollars in gifts reignited the chat. Holy crap! More gifts. Boss has lost it. Does the boss have a mine at home? Did someone curse the boss? Still tipping with this start. I'm new here. One question, is this streamer super lucky or super unlucky? Starting with free items then drawing a trash Pokemon? This can still earn 500,000 in gifts. Kairos smiled slightly and simply thanked them. Thanks for the gift, boss. His attention was already fully focused on the screen. His character stepped into the lush grass, and the classic wild encounter sound effect immediately played. The screen instantly went black. A wild Poochyena appeared. Without hesitation, Kairos pressed run away. Got away safely. Then he began repeatedly moving through the grass again. A wild Zigzagoon appeared. Run away. Success. A wild Centauret appeared. Run away. Success. A series of smooth escape operations left the chat completely puzzled. Streamer, you keep running into Pokemon but won't fight them. You think the streamer doesn't want to fight? Ha ha ha, deal damage with Defense Curl and Sand Attack? Neither of those moves do damage. Pretty good at hitting the run button, but isn't this situation completely hopeless now? Don't rush. As the chat questioned him, Kairos's voice carried a steady confidence that controlled the rhythm. Wimpod's ability means it needs time to develop and evolve before showing its true power. Before it grows strong, we naturally need another partner to fill this gap. He explained while scanning the rustling grass. Every Pokemon has its strong periods and weak periods. Excellent trainers know how to make them complement each other, rather than dismissing possibilities based on initial impressions alone. This speech drew praise like makes sense and sounds professional, but was also mixed with mockery like stubborn and waiting for the reality check. Just then, the grass at the screen's edge shook violently. Accompanied by a distinctive insect cry, a worm Pokemon covered in bright red fur with yellow ring patterns dotting its back emerged. The Y-shaped red antennae on its head twitched alertly. It was the bug-type Pokemon Wurmple. Before the chat could react, Kairos's eyes sharpened and his finger moved. Without any hesitation, he decisively opened his item bag, selected that single Pokeball, and firmly pressed use on the Wurmple on screen. The red and white Pokeball traced an arc, precisely hitting the Wurmple. Red light burst forth, sucking it entirely into the ball. Clack! The Pokeball fell into the grass, violently shaking left and right. Once. Wurmple struggled desperately inside the ball. Twice. The shaking intensity didn't diminish at all. The stream instantly fell quiet as everyone held their breath. Even the chat stopped scrolling. Kairos unconsciously leaned forward slightly, staring at that frantically vibrating Pokeball. This was his only hope, the key team piece to compensate for Wimpod's early weakness. 3 times. The shaking intensity seemed to weaken. The button in the center of the Pokeball flashed with blinding white light. Ding! A crisp, pleasant notification sound symbolizing successful capture rang throughout the stream. That Pokeball sat steadily in the grass, no longer moving. Congratulations! Wurmple was caught. Chapter 124 The Fastest Rival Destruction in History. Kairos stared at the newly caught Wurmple in his party window. The little bug didn't exactly scream hope. Its pixel eyes drooped like it already regretted being born. Still, he set it as his lead Pokemon. Wimpod was useless right now. Wurmple would have to do. The stream chat immediately caught fire. Caught a Wurmple. Streamer's bug-type army takes its first historic step. Finally something that can fight, right? Right. You're gonna challenge the rival with that? Please survive 2 turns. Just 2. Wurmple, maybe let me go, bro. Please. Kairos flicked his eyes toward chat, said nothing, closed the bag menu. He was still broke. Early game broke. The kind of broke where you can list your entire inventory without scrolling. One super potion left. That's it. A faint flicker in the corner of his HUD caught his eye, mild contempt, emotion value +1, +1. Hat. Even mockery counted as profit. Mosquito legs are still meat, after all. He guided his avatar north, the grass swaying along Route 103. Somewhere up ahead, that last potion would pay its rent. A kid in green shorts jumped out, face shaped like a watermelon. Hey! A new trainer. Let's battle. Cue the music. Wurmple, LV.4, vs. Pochina, LV.3. Kairos hit the button. Wurmple used Poison Sting. The needle landed. Barely. Pochina's HP bar trembled, maybe out of pity. Pochina used Tackle. Wurmple shook like a wet tissue. Its health dropped fast. Chat immediately went feral. Chip damage. It's chip damage, people. Streamer, maybe feed it that super potion just for laughs. This is brutal. One Wurmple, one potion, and a dream. Pochina, is this my warm-up? Kairos didn't react. Another poison sting. Then another. Wurmple's bar bled red. He popped open the bag, clicked the only healing item he had. A green glow. Full HP. There it is. The family heirloom super potion. One potion to rule them all. Beautifully fund established, $0. Wurmple, thanks boss, I'll cry quieter next time. Third turn after healing Pochina rushed again. Wurmple used Poison Sting. Critical hit. The text blinked red. Pochina let out one miserable bark and fainted. Silence. Then chaos. Lucky break. Victory, but it feels like a bankruptcy moment. This is literally the easiest NPC and he almost lost. What happens next? Armageddon. Wurmple leveled up to 5. Kairos didn't even blink. He turned around and sprinted to Petalburg's Pokémon Center. Streamers running away. Healing time. Nurse Joy arc begins. He's gonna be Joy's favorite regular. Streamer VIP membership incoming. A white flash, full heal. Then right back into the tall grass. Grinding? Again. Bro, rival's level syncs with yours, you know that, right? The strategy, fight monsters nearly die sprint to Nurse Joy repeat forever. Joy, sir, would you like to sign up for our annual plan? Wurmple fought hard. Too hard. Its base stats were so bad that every battle looked like a tragic documentary. He'd run, heal, run back, repeat. The streamer's running form has real broke student energy. He could sprint Route 103 blindfolded by now. Wurmple, not human, but streamer, you're a real dog for this. Nurse Joy, back again? That's visit number 8. Finally, through a mix of stubborn luck and mosquito leg persistence, Wurmple poisoned a Zigzagoon to death. Level 7. White light bloomed across the screen. Wait, it's evolving. Already? That was fast. All those laps to the Pokémon Center paid off, hey. Still weak though. Probably worse than before. The cocoon formed. White shell, tiny head poking out. Silcoon. Kairos checked its moveset. Harden, Tackle, Poison Sting. That's all. Back into the grass. Silcoon's attacks still hit like wet noodles, but now it could tank hits forever. Progress, sort of. 2 minutes later HP red again. Another sprint. He's running again. Is the Pokémon Center your home address now? Nurse Joy, 12th time today, sir, please. Silcoon, it doesn't hurt, but why am I so tired? On and on. Battle, heal, battle, heal. Until the shell glowed again. Level 11. Another flash. Out came a slender blue body, patterned black, 4 wings spreading like glass. Beautifully. Chat went silent, then exploded. No way, already. 2 evolutions before lunch. Beautifully. It's actually pretty. Cheating, right? There's no way. Kairos just adjusted his mic. Bug types evolve fast. It's normal. He scrolled through the moves. Explained calmly like a teacher. Wurmple's evolution is random. White becomes beautifully, purple becomes Dustux. Ah, got it. I thought they were the same bug. Still, Torchique's gonna roast it alive. Starter's advantage. Rip beautifully. Kairos said nothing. Just walked north. The rival appeared. Short chat box, brief banter. Then battle. Beautifully, LV.11, vs. Torchique, LV.11. The chat screamed. It's time. He's so dead. Goodbye streamer. No Pokémon Center this time, ha 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 ha. Kairos chose Gust. Beautifully used Gust. A rush of wind blasted across the screen. Critical hit. Red text. Torchique didn't even squeak. Straight to 0 HP. Silence. Pure, heavy silence. Then the chat lost its mind. No way. That crit. What even just happened? One shot kill? From a bug type. Who's the newbie village nightmare now? Streamer must have bribed Nurse Joy for steroids. Beautifully just hovered on screen, wings calm. Beautifully, that's it. System notifications stacked like fireworks. Emotion plus 100. Plus 98. Plus 81. The pinging sound almost musical. Kairos smiled, small and satisfied. Not bad. A decent emotional payout. He opened the stat page, tone steady. Beautifly's final evolution early means it's got real numbers. 40 HP already. Most Pokémon don't have that yet. Even if that crit didn't land, 2 gusts would have finished Torchique after 1 ember. Pause. And for coverage, it learns Psybeam, Psychic, Giga Drain, Air Slash. Covers multiple types. He added, Torchique evolves into a fire and fighting dual type. Flying beats fighting. Simple. Clean. Logical. The chat shifted tone, half disbelief, half respect. Wait, he's not a pro trainer. No way, this is his first run. Battle Road Champion energy confirmed. Then a highlighted comment popped up, but you said the evolution was random. What if it turned into Dustix instead? Kairos didn't miss a beat. Dustix would have been fine too. Higher special defense. Ember wouldn't do much. Learns Psychic early, can use Light Screen, Whirlwind later. Very solid. Chat froze again. So either way he wins. Are bug types secretly overpowered? Streamer rewriting the meta live on stream. Someone clip this. Post it everywhere. Hey, streamer, permission to use your footage. He nodded. Sure. Publicity's publicity. The more people watching, the better for Emerald's numbers and his. After wiping his rival faster than any trainer in history, Kairos calmly followed the story path back to the lab. The professor handed him 5 Pokeballs and a Pokédex. He stopped for a second, staring at the screen. Ultra Emerald was supposed to be harder. Full masochist mode. But the rewards? Pretty standard. He tapped his chin. Maybe too standard. In the original game, Pokédex was just a collector's journal. Fill it, get trivia. Some versions gave tiny rewards, like candy or a ball or 2. Emerald didn't even do that. What if, in the next update, completion gave bonuses? Or maybe, since captures were limited on this difficulty, even defeating a Pokémon could count as a valid entry. That'd fix the grind problem. He quietly made a note. Behind him, the chat was still burning like a second sun. Chapter 125 Streamer, your head is really pretty hard, huh? In any live stream chat, viewer comments can't always stay friendly forever. Even though Kairos had just delivered an outstanding performance with Beautifully, directly defeating his rival, plenty of comments tried to bring him down. That's how he deals with his rival? Just got lucky. Let's see how the streamer handles the rock gym coming up. Yeah, just that Arcan alone will probably stop the streamer cold. Rock type and flying type are both hard counters to bug types. Exactly. And your Beautifully is bug/flying, so it takes quadruple damage from rock types. Can't wait to watch the streamer's team get pounded senseless by the Guay dude at the gym entrance, lol. Didn't the streamer say Beautifully could learn grass type moves? Wonder if it can learn them before level 15. If not, what's the plan? Even if it does learn them, it still can't get past that ridiculously tanky Liliup. The performance of Pokémon Ultra Emerald's first gym was deeply etched in every viewer's memory, and everyone agreed, the difficulty was hellish. Many viewers who had bought the game on launch day still hadn't cleared the rock gym and were scouring forums for strategies. No helping it, Roxanne's Pokémon were just too powerful. Now here was a streamer claiming he'd clear Roxanne's rock gym with an all-bug team. Naturally, the skeptics didn't believe it. But they only made up a small portion of the chat. Kairos's recent performance had genuinely excited quite a few viewers. Supportive comments flooded the chat, and gifts kept appearing in the bottom right corner. Someone new even showed up out of nowhere and immediately donated 20000 worth of gifts. The stream's popularity began skyrocketing. In front of his screen, Kairos finished battling a roadside NPC and glanced at the viewer count. From 50,000 when the wealthy viewer first sent gifts, it had climbed to 70,000 and was still rising rapidly. Still far from the system's 500,000 requirement. But Kairos wasn't worried. Everything he was about to show would make the stream's popularity surge. Ultra Emerald was old news to someone like him. He steered his character toward Petalburg City, skillfully picked some wild berries from the roadside, then found 2 reward Pokeballs, obtaining a Great Ball and a Star Piece. Next came helping May catch her starter Ralts, saying goodbye to Norman, and continuing the journey. After finishing the Petalburg City story events, Kairos didn't immediately move on. He paced back and forth in the grass to the left of the city. Soon, he encountered a wild level 6 Pokémon Taillow. As a starter Pokémon, Taillow would be excellent. Its final evolution, Swellow, with the Guts ability, could be incredibly powerful. Unfortunately, with the All-Bug Team challenge, Kairos had beautifully taken it down with 2 gusts. As he searched the grass again, the chat responded immediately. Is the streamer going to start grinding levels again? Really planning ahead? But if you're grinding levels, wouldn't the forest be better? That's where all the bug types are, and they'd be weak to Beautifly's flying moves. True, I don't really get it either. You guys don't understand. This place might be more troublesome for leveling, but it's close to the Pokémon Center. Don't forget what the streamer loves doing most. Got it, running marathons between the grass and the Pokémon Center. The chat filled with laughter while Kairos spoke softly. Since I'm using an all-bug team for this playthrough, with the restriction of only catching 15 Pokémon, every early game bug type is extremely important. The Pokémon in each area's grass are different, so I want to see if anything useful appears here. True, but not the whole truth. As a veteran player and designer of the game, Kairos knew exactly what he was looking for. But as a first-time streamer, he had to act the part for viewers. Kairos's explanation sparked discussion in the chat. That makes sense. We usually rush through without checking the grass for Pokémon. I heard if you encounter enough wild Pokémon in grass patches, you might find rare ones. Really? Every patch has rare Pokémon? Guess we'll need half an hour in each patch from now on. You can check the forums, I think someone shared that info. Kairos smiled slightly. His effort to promote the forum seemed to be working. Speaking of rare Pokémon, that was a feature from the original games. Route 101 had a rare bug type with only a 1% spawn rate, the initial form of Beedrill, Weedle. Catching it immediately would make the challenge trivial. Beedrill was unstoppable early, and terrifying even in the late game with its Mega Stone. But finding Weedle now would spoil the fun. Kairos was looking for a common Pokémon, Pidgey, Zigzagoon. After several consecutive spawns, using beautifully to easily defeat wild Pokémon for experience, a new Pokémon appeared. Finally. If he hadn't found it soon, he would have doubted its spawn location. It looked similar to Wurmple, but with 2 white lens-like eyes and a blue and white spherical body that looked a bit dopey. Wild Blipbug, LV.6, appeared. The chat erupted. As a Galar Pokémon, viewers had never seen Blipbug. Hey, who's this? Bug type maybe, but never seen it. Probably another original Pokémon. I found one yesterday. Thought it was rare, used 3 Pokeballs, and found its stats were less than half my starters. Not powerful at all, seems common. So regretful. Game won't let you release Pokémon, so it permanently takes a slot. Ugh. Thought the streamer's luck was kicking in again. Some comments turned teasing. Streamer. Didn't you say no weak Pokémon, only weak trainers? Catch it and show us. Yeah, it's bug type too, just catch it. Kairos just smiled. He had beautifully used Tackle, dropping Blipbug to critical HP, then threw a Pokeball. 3 shakes later, sparkling light and cheerful music played. Congratulations! Successfully caught Blipbug. New Pokémon data recorded in the Pokédex. The chat erupted in question marks. Wait, streamer, you actually did it? Someone said catch it and you did. Haha, your head is really hard as a rock. Support. Those guys' attitudes are ugly, they can't respect Pokémon. True, but catching Blipbug as your third Pokémon drags the team down, right? Does it evolve as powerfully as beautifully? Some discussed its evolution timing. Impossible. It doesn't reach final evolution until level 30. I threw mine into storage. Geez, bug type, but evolves that late? Even Garchomp is 36. Late bloomer, haha. Negative chat faded. Kairos said nothing. Blipbug's usefulness was unknown. He led beautifully and Blipbug into Petalburg Woods. He walked straight to a large tree, pressed the interaction button, and got Antidote X1 added to your bag. The chat exploded. Luck too good. Didn't know trees had hidden items. Streamer snuck practice, figured this out. Kairos snapped back to reality. In every generation, entering the first forest included a tree that gave an antidote. It was instinct. The chat noticed nothing. He entered the left grass. Most Pokémon in Petalburg Woods were grass and bug types. Flying type moves instantly KO'd them, making leveling highly efficient. He only needed one trip back when Gust PP ran out. Under this efficient leveling, Beautifully and Wimpod reached level 14, one below the cap. Blipbug leveled to 10. Rainbow-like evolutionary light burst from its body, it had reached the requirement for its first evolution. Chapter 126 Kairos vs Roxanne, First Gym Battle. In the center of the screen, as the colorful evolutionary light faded away, Blipbug's appearance had completely changed. Its pixelated body was clearly elongated, the originally round, ball-like silver shell segments replaced by larger, more angular heavy armor plates, as if it had become a somewhat honest-looking metal ball. Congratulations! Your Pokémon Blipbug has evolved into Dottler. The chat immediately began updating rapidly. It evolved just like that. Well yet, bug types all have transitional forms, right? Don't forget what that guy said, this thing doesn't evolve again until level 30. Bug-type intermediate forms, their battle power is pretty questionable. While the chat argued about Blipbug's evolution, a prompt appeared directly in the game screen. Ding! Dottler has learned the new moves Light Screen and Reflect. After a brief pause, the chat absolutely exploded. Wait, bro, what did you just learn? Hold up, am I seeing things? Hey? Is this a bug? No wonder these viewers were so shocked right now. The reason was simple, Light Screen and Reflect were widely known in the real world as extremely powerful defensive moves. But correspondingly, these weren't moves that just any ordinary Pokémon could learn. They were incredibly difficult to master, basically only gym leader level Pokémon could attempt to use them. If it wasn't a psychic-type Pokémon, using these moves would be even harder. But now, a small bug-type Pokémon had directly mastered both moves after evolving. Kairos seemed to have anticipated the chat's explosion, showing no surprise on his face. He moved the mouse cursor and precisely clicked on this new form Pokémon's Pokédex page in the party menu. A clear electronic voice accompanied by concise text introduction played in the stream. Dottler possesses powerful psychic talent, especially excelling at constructing defensive energy barriers. Its shell effectively amplifies mental power, forming powerful protective fields. He seemed to say nothing, yet somehow said everything. The chat continued scrolling rapidly. Streamer, come clean, how did you know this guy could learn these moves? Confirmed. The streamer definitely snuck in some practice beforehand and figured it out. So what? He practiced ahead of time, so what? Could you understand a game this well in one night? Kairos's gaze quickly swept over the rapidly scrolling chat filled with various emotions. Dottler mastering these two moves had undoubtedly stirred up emotions among the stream's viewers. And naturally, prompts appeared before his eyes. Congratulations host, you have gained a total of 410 shock emotion points from stream viewers. As the number of viewers in the stream increased, the efficiency of emotion point acquisition naturally improved as well. But Kairos's attention returned to the more important matter, the party panel. Beautifully had already reached level 14, while Wimpod was level 14 and had finally learned an offensive move, Struggle Bug. But trying to challenge Roxanne's gym with the current team would obviously still be difficult. He'd probably need more preparation. Fortunately, the biggest advantage of bug types was that they were easy to catch and train. Going to catch new ones now would be perfectly manageable. So Kairos controlled his character and dove straight into the forest grass, quickly catching 2 more suitable Pokémon, a Caterpie and a Suiddle. As he caught these 2 new Pokémon, the chat began commenting rapidly. "You're catching Caterpie too? Streamer, are you really that desperate? Oh. Suiddle, from Unova. I know this one. So cute and green. Suiddle evolves into Swadloon, right? Like a big leaf wrap, then Leaveney. Does anyone know how Leaveney evolves?" Kairos glanced at the chat, which reminded him of something. After Suiddle evolved into Swadloon at level 20, it needed to reach a certain friendship level to evolve into Leaveney. And in this world, friendship evolution obviously hadn't been discovered yet. So probably not many people would bother training Suiddle. That was truly unfortunate, since he felt Leaveney ranked pretty high among all bug types in terms of strength. But no worries, he could demonstrate this to the chat soon enough. After catching 2 new Pokémon, Kairos continued using his previous method, finding NPCs and bug types in Petalburg Woods to quickly level up his team. 20 minutes later, all Pokémon in his party had reached the current level cap 15. Caterpie had even evolved all the way to its final form, Butterfree. As for Suiddle, since it needed to reach level 20 to evolve, there was naturally no change. Another fighter. Feels like the streamer's really well prepared. This evolution speed for Suiddle feels as slow as Wimpod. What's up with that? Don't tell me it's another late-blooming bug type, haha. Deadweight +1. While the chat discussed, Kairos pressed the interaction key and spoke to his Pokémon, his voice carrying encouragement and comfort. "Alright everyone, we're about to face your first gym battle. Win or lose, I'll be right there with you. Let's give it our all and try to clear it in one shot." Kairos's behavior sparked another string of comments. The streamer definitely watched other streams, even learned about speaking to boost bonds. Sigh, too bad he's about to face Roxanne, waiting for the streamer to crash and burn. A few minutes later, Kairos entered Roxanne's gym with a bag full of bug types at the level cap. Due to reaching the level cap, the NPCs guarding the gym entrance didn't pose any real challenge and were easily defeated. And the moment Kairos stood before Roxanne, a red exclamation mark appeared above her head. What followed was Roxanne's signature line. "The solid, powerful hearts of rock-type Pokémon, let me show them to you now." The gym battle officially began. Gym leader Roxanne sent out Archon. The Pokeball was thrown, and Archon's figure appeared on the battlefield. But on Kairos's side, his lead Pokémon was, actually Wimpod. The stream's viewers were completely dumbfounded. Starting with Wimpod. "Streamer, are you sending it out as cannon fodder? Don't NPCs have infinite PP for their moves? Rip Wimpod." Moment of silence. Amen. The battle command panel appeared at the bottom of the screen. Kairos's fingers showed no hesitation on the keyboard as his mouse cursor moved lightning fast to the Switch Pokémon option and clicked Confirm. As the turn began, Roxanne's command also lit up simultaneously, also Switch Pokémon. The pixelated animation of Pokeballs being recalled and thrown out flashed quickly. Kairos's Wimpod on the field disappeared, replaced by the newly evolved Dottler. On Roxanne's side, Archon was replaced by Lillipup, composed of multiple rocky tentacles and resembling an ancient lily flower. The chat was instantly confused. Holy crap! They were battling fine, then suddenly both switched. How did the streamer predict that? How did you know Roxanne would definitely switch to Lillipup? While the viewers were surprised, Kairos's voice came through the microphone clearly to every viewer's ears, carrying a calm tone. Lilliup's ability is Storm Drain, which makes water-type moves ineffective and instead boosts its special attack. Seeing me lead with Wimpod, to prevent any water-type moves I might use from threatening her while utilizing the ability as a counter, she'd inevitably switch to Lillipup first to absorb water-type moves, taking no damage while getting a free special attack boost. For her, that's the optimal play. Pfft, you still have the nerve to say this is your first playthrough when you even know Lilliup's ability. This calculation is insanely precise, holy crap. It even avoided dealing with that Archon, it was brutal. The streamer definitely has some skills, but now the problem is how do you get past this Lillipup? This thing is ridiculously tanky. Among the flood of comments, Kairos remained calm and selected the move Reflect. As the turn began, a translucent energy wall composed of countless tiny light pixels instantly erected in Kairos's half of the field, emitting a soft glow. The next moment, Liliup directly used Confuse Ray. A twisted, eerie pixelated light orb hit Dottler, causing Dottler to fall into a confused state. However, seeing the confusion status take effect, Kairos didn't pause at all and immediately selected Switch on the command panel, bringing in beautifully from the back. Right after, Liliup acted, using Giga Drain. Green light flashed across Beautifly's body, but a barely effective message popped up. As a bug/flying type Pokémon, grass type moves obviously couldn't deal much damage, only scraping off a bit of Beautifly's HP. Kairos felt somewhat grateful that when he originally designed Liliup's moveset, he hadn't given it any rock type moves, otherwise it would be genuinely dangerous for Beautifly. As the new turn began, Kairos decisively chose Poison Sting. The next moment, Beautifly's pixel model performed an attack animation, several needles glowing with ominous purple light shot out, accurately hitting Liliup. The next instant, purple light flashed across Liliup's body. Liliup was poisoned. As the notification appeared, a purple skull icon immediately appeared on the right side of Liliup's status bar, indicating it had fallen into poison status. Holy shit, what luck does the streamer have, even triggering that effect? This way it cancels out the leftovers recovery, but how do you deal with recover? Don't even have a super effective move, still feels like you can't break through. Meanwhile, Liliup used Confuse Ray again, but it missed. As the new turn began, Kairos directly had Beautifully use the move Bug Bite. Green tooth-shaped light flashed across the screen, followed by a super effective notification, and Liliup's HP bar dropped by nearly half. Keep in mind, for the extremely durable Liliup, this was already quite high damage. This caused another wave of surprise in the chat. Hey, shouldn't bug-type moves be not very effective against rock-type? How is it super effective? What happened to Liliup being super tanky? Kairos's voice remained calm, as if stating an ordinary fact. Rock-type does resist bug-type, that's correct. This means rock-type moves deal super effective damage to bug-type Pokémon, causing more harm. But conversely, bug-type moves hitting rock-type Pokémon aren't resisted, they just deal normal damage. Bug-type moves are also super effective against Liliup's grass-type, so naturally they deal double damage. Moreover, he paused, then added, Beautifly's attack stat is actually quite high, at least pretty decent for the early game. As the next new turn began, Kairos unhesitatingly chose Bug Bite again. As the green light fell, this attack plus the previous poison damage directly brought Liliup's HP bar to near empty, almost zero. Liliup's body then glowed with brilliant light as it used Recover, restoring half its health. However, when the turn ended and both poison damage and leftovers triggered together, Liliup's health finally stopped at below half, flashing dangerous yellow light within Beautifly's KO range. Next turn, if Beautifully used Bug Bite once more, it could directly finish it off. Faced with this situation, the stream naturally welcomed a wave of excited comment frenzy. Holy crap, is Liliup about to go down? This annoying thing was actually this easy to deal with. No wonder he started with Poison Sting. The purpose was to cancel out leftovers recovery, preventing Liliup from using Recover to get its health back to a safe position. Such explosive damage output. Quick, use Bug Bite again and finish it off. But the next moment, Kairos made a move the chat completely didn't expect. He actually didn't choose to have Beautifully press the advantage, but directly switched Pokémon, sending out Dottler. Almost the instant Kairos pressed confirm, Roxanne's command also lit up simultaneously. She also chose Switch Pokémon, targeting the previously switched out Archon. This scene caused another commotion in the chat. Holy crap! What kind of double switch is this? GG, the streamer predicted Roxanne. But Archon hits so hard, sending Dottler up is just feeding it. The last comment's concern wasn't unfounded. After all, everyone had witnessed Archon's attack power firsthand. They didn't think a bug-type Pokémon could withstand that super effective damage. As the new turn began, Archon acted without hesitation, launching Rock Slide first. Countless sharp rocks gathered above it, crashing down like a torrential rain toward the newly entered Dottler. Heavy stones slammed into Dottler's thick, solid silver shell pixels, producing dull sounds. Super effective. But Dottler's HP bar stopped dropping at the final quarter, stubbornly remaining on the field. This naturally left everyone stunned. Hey? It didn't faint. Holy crap, is it that tanky? As Arkan's turn ended, psychic waves surged around Dottler. Countless pale yellow hexagonal energy pixels quickly assembled and expanded around the field, forming a solid energy barrier covering Kairos's side. Dottler used light screen. Some viewers were starting to catch on. Holy shit, this is strategy. Now both walls are up. If not for that first turn double switch, directly putting Dottler against Arkan would only get one wall up, but now both are active. As the new turn began, Kairos didn't choose to switch Pokémon. Dottler was directly taken out by Arkan's rock slide. He pressed the interaction key and spoke softly. Dottler, you did great. Thank you for your hard work, rest now. Leave it to the other partners. As soon as he finished speaking, Kairos directly switched to beautifully again. However, this behavior left the stream's viewers somewhat confused. Switching to beautifully again? But it takes quadruple damage from rock type. Isn't this just feeding? Yet, even with reflect reducing physical damage, beautifully itself is physically frail. Arkan is fast even if it survives 2 hits, 2 consecutive attacks might finish it off. The key is how can beautifully even damage Arkan? This flying/rock typing is just too broken, isn't it? I knew it, the streamer isn't a professional trainer after all, so operation mistakes are normal. If you ask me, sending out Butterfree this turn would be the smartest choice. Could inflict some status conditions on Arkan, play around it, wear down some HP first. However, at this moment, as the turn began, Kairos ignored the chat's concerns and doubts, his finger firmly selecting a command for beautifully stun spore. The next moment, in the game, Arkan indeed struck first, countless rocks falling from the sky. Arkan used rock slide, super effective. One rock slide directly hit Beautifly's body, instantly taking away more than half its health. Keep in mind, this was with reflect reducing damage by half. Without reflex protection, Beautifly would have been instantly KO'd. As Beautifly's turn began, golden powder scattered from its wings, falling onto Arkan's body. Yellow lightning effects flashed briefly, indicating Arkan had fallen into paralysis. The new turn began. Kairos glanced at Beautifly's HP bar and without any hesitation, directly clicked Gust. Following his command, the chat immediately began updating. Is the streamer confused? Gust will be resisted, it can't damage Arkan at all. And Arkan is faster than Beautifly. If paralysis doesn't trigger, wouldn't Beautifly just be sacrificed? But the next moment, as the turn began, the first to act was, actually Beautifly. It flapped its wings with all its might, instantly forming a powerful, tearing airflow that became invisible blades, sweeping toward Arkan. A system notification also appeared. Beautifully used Gust, not very effective. But this attack's damage exceeded all the stream viewers' expectations, actually taking away half of Arkan's HP. The chat was instantly flooded with question marks and shock. Wait, bro? Why can a resisted 40 power move deal so much damage? Streamer, are you cheating? Why did you move first this time and deal so much damage? Kairos's voice timely provided the answer to these mysteries. I read the game manual. Under paralysis, Pokémon not only have difficulty acting, but their speed is also halved, so Beautifully would definitely move first. The move Gust actually has a special effect. If the opponent is in a flying or free fall state, this move's damage doubles. And while Arkan doesn't appear to be flying normally, in the game, this move should deal double damage to all flying-type Pokémon. Fixed double damage? Speed halved. This move has additional effects. Streamer, are you sure you're not making this up? This is really the first time hearing this. Streamer, are you really not some professional trainer? You know so much. While the stream's viewers frantically discussed, golden electrical current flashed across Arkan's body before instantly disappearing. Paralysis didn't successfully trigger, meaning it still had the right to act. Now quite a few viewers panicked. This is bad, luck isn't great. 1 hit took over half, 2 hits means certain death. Looks like Beautifully still has to go down. This thing might have to be handled by Butterfree, but Butterfree doesn't seem to have any good moves against it, and it still depends on how paralysis performs. This is tough. What a shame. But while the chat discussed frantically, no one knew that in front of the computer screen, Kairos's gaze fell on Arkan's HP bar, and his lips curved up slightly. A shame? Not happening. The next moment, as Arkan used Rock Slide, countless rocks crashed down with a super effective notification, and Beautifly's HP bar began rapidly dropping. However, just as the HP bar was about to completely disappear. Beautifly's final sliver of red health stopped moving and stayed there. It still stood tall on the battlefield, refusing to fall. Chapter 127 Kairos vs. Roxanne, did you know? It was Beautifly's turn to act. The paralysis-induced speed reduction on Arkan meant it got another first strike with gust. That deadly pixelated airflow hit Arkan with pinpoint precision once again. Damage calculated, the super effective multiplier triggered again, and Arkan's remaining HP was instantly reduced to 0. It let out a short, mournful cry before immediately losing its ability to battle. It's down. Actually down. That Arkan just got wiped out like that. Wait, why didn't Arkan finish off beautifully on the second hit? It barely did any damage. The chat was completely confused. Kairos's explanation came at just the right moment. Arkan's ability is defeatist. When its HP drops below half, both its attack and special attack are cut in half. Combined with reflex damage reduction, of course, it couldn't KO a beautifully with half its health remaining. Only then did the stream viewers notice that in the recent battle log, a notification about Arkan triggering its defeatist ability had suddenly appeared, but no one knew what it meant. Now that Kairos explained it, they all had their aha moment. Just then, Roxanne on the other side threw out a new Pokeball, switching to a new Pokémon. Gym leader Roxanne sent out Cranidos. Heavy footstep sound effects accompanied a pixelated Cranidos model as it stepped onto the rocky battlefield, its head covered in thick bone plates, eyes fierce and menacing. Cranidos. Here comes the heavyweight. This thing knows fire punch. Rock plus fire, that combo is pure death to bug types. It's got mold breaker too, though I doubt the streamer can trigger that, lol. Faced with Cranidos' entrance, Kairos didn't hesitate to switch Pokemon, sending out Butterfree. Sure enough, Cranidos charged forward, swinging a flame-covered claw that connected with the newly switched-in Butterfree. A super effective notification popped up, but under reflex damage reduction, Butterfree's HP only dropped by barely half. Compared to Beautifly, Butterfree has higher durability, and right now it's at full health. That's not Cranidos' stab same type attack bonus, so taking it wasn't too difficult. Kairos's voice echoed in the stream as his finger selected the next turn's move, Sleep Powder. Butterfree's broad wings fluttered, scattering light blue powder that enveloped Cranidos. The move hit. The pixelated ZZZ sleep symbol appeared above Cranidos' head as it immediately collapsed to the ground. At the same time, a notification flashed. Light screen shattered. Reflect is wavering. Both screens were about to completely collapse, meaning no Pokemon left in Kairos' team could survive another hit from Cranidos. The screens are gone that fast? Though I guess they already did their job. Even though Cranidos is asleep, this still feels really dangerous. Quick, attack now. There won't be any screens left after this. Great opportunity. Attack my butt, if you wake it up, won't it just sweep the whole team? Gotta think about how to play this right. At this point, the stream chat had gotten completely invested in the battle, seeming even more anxious than Kairos himself. Kairos directly selected his next move. Supersonic. Butterfree's wings produced high-frequency vibrations beyond human hearing. Invisible sound waves struck the sleeping Cranidos, making stars appear above its head. The move hit again. The ZZZ sleep symbol in its status didn't disappear, instead, a spinning spiral icon representing confusion was added. Cranidos was now in a confused state. Holy crap! These two status conditions can exist at the same time. That doesn't seem right. Isn't this game supposed to only allow one status condition? I've seen those moves before, they only have like 55% accuracy. How did the streamer hit both in a row? What kind of luck is that? The chat was obviously confused again. Kairos spoke directly. Confusion is a special status condition that can be calculated alongside other statuses. Besides that, this Butterfree has the Compound Eyes ability, which greatly increases move accuracy. That's why the status moves are hitting consecutively. There's some luck involved, but not much. The chat suddenly understood. There's an ability like that. Wouldn't that make it perfect as a support Pokemon? Just then, Cranidos' massive body stirred as it suddenly opened its crimson eyes. It was lucky enough to wake up from sleep on the first turn, but the confusion immediately took effect. It shook its head irritably, letting out an unintelligible growl, then, without warning, used its hard skull to slam viciously into the ground. Thump! A dull impact sound, dust flying. Damage numbers popped up as Kranidos's HP bar visibly dropped a chunk. Kranidos is confused. It hurt itself in its confusion. A new turn began, and Kairos naturally had Butterfree use sleep powder again, putting Kranidos back to sleep. Nice. Self-damage plus sleep again. Beautiful. 3 hits in a row, this is looking solid now. Not bothering with the earlier interruption, the audience could almost see victory on the horizon, with chat frantically urging Kairos to switch to his main attacker for the cleanup. However, Kairos's next move left all the chat instantly flooded with question marks. He recalled Butterfree, who had just finished setting up field control. A Pokeball's red light flashed, and what appeared on the battlefield was that timid-looking Wimpod. Switching to Wimpod. Not going for the finish. I really can't read the streamer's plays anymore, but after this, I don't dare question them, I'll be good. The Wimpod on the field also seemed unsettled by the immense pressure, but its trainer's command was everything. It summoned its courage, using its tiny claws to kick up sand from the ground. Sand attack. Sand immediately pelted the face of Kranidos, who had just finished hurting itself and fallen back asleep. A grey glow flashed over Kranidos's body as a notification suddenly appeared. Kranidos's accuracy was lowered. Kranidos is confused. This time, Kranidos didn't wake up. A new turn began, and Kairos selected again, sand attack. Another cloud of dust was kicked up, with the accuracy lowering effect and notification appearing as well. However, it was at this very moment that Kranidos opened its eyes and completely broke free from the confusion's effects. Its crimson eyes instantly locked onto that tiny figure on the field. Wimpod. Seemingly driven by rage, it let out a fury-filled roar, kicked off with its hind legs, and launched its entire body like a cannonball, using its bone-plated skull to ram viciously toward Wimpod. Headbutt. Wimpod was so frightened its pixelated model seemed to shrink, but this seemingly guaranteed hit resulted in a cold, merciless notification. Kranidos used headbutt, but it missed. At the same moment the missed text appeared, Kairos's voice rang out almost simultaneously, calm and decisive, struggle bug. Wimpod mustered all its strength, releasing a weak wave of bug-type energy. Struggle bug. The green energy wave precisely struck Kranidos's battered body. It's not very effective. Though the damage was extremely low, another notification popped up. Kranidos's special attack fell. The stream chat rolled again. Sleep, then confusion, then accuracy drop. Streamer, do you have any decency left? Have you forgotten what the streamer's name is? The streamer's whole thing is being decent. That move's side effect might be useless against a physically focused Kranidos, but seeing that notification pop up right now feels pretty humiliating. If I were Roxanne, I'd just quit. What happened next came as no surprise. When the fourth attack missed and Wimpod landed another struggle bug, Kranidos finally let out an unwilling whimper and crashed to the ground, losing its ability to battle. Cheerful music played, announcing Kairos's victory in this gym battle. At that moment, everyone suddenly realized something. In less than 10 minutes, gym leader Roxanne's 3 Pokémon had all lost their ability to battle, while on Kairos's side, Swadloon had stayed safely in its Pokeball the entire time without even getting a chance to make an appearance. Wimpod went the whole battle without taking a single hit, staying at full health throughout. Beautifully and Butterfree both retained considerable fighting power. Only Dottler had fulfilled its role by setting up dual screens before going down with satisfaction. As Kairos exited the battle screen, the entire stream seemed to hit a pause button. The rapidly scrolling chat experienced a suffocating vacuum lasting several seconds. All viewers, whether they had been supporting, doubting, mocking, or just watching for entertainment, seemed to enter the same state of mental overload, their CPUs frantically processing the mind-bending battle they had just witnessed. Then in the next instant, dense text filled with fanatical emotion practically covered the entire stream. That's it. We won. Holy crap! That was a clean sweep, right? Even Cynthia wouldn't dare claim a clean sweep. Actually swept the rock gym? Oh my god! And only lost 1 Pokémon, that's insane. Streamer's amazing. Decent god. Decent god. Amid the chat's frenzy, Kairos calmly controlled his character to walk out the gym's front door. 2 figures naturally ran past him, one after the other, clearly a Devon Corporation member having documents stolen by Team Magma members. This was part of the original storyline, which Kairos naturally kept intact. He controlled his character to slowly walk upward from the gym to proceed with this story segment. Meanwhile, he was thinking about his future team composition. Since this was an all-bug type challenge, every position had to be carefully calculated. Now that the basic configuration of Butterfree, Dottler, Beautifully, and Wimpod was complete, the team had sufficient early game fighting power. Next, he undoubtedly needed to plan for the late game. While Butterfree and Beautifully had quite decent early game combat power, as the game progressed and opponents' levels and Pokémon tiers increased, their advantage as fast-developing bug types would naturally disappear. Their lower base stat disadvantages would gradually emerge, forcing them to transition mainly into support roles for other Pokémon, occasionally providing supplementary damage. Having only Wimpod's evolution into Golisopod, and Leaveney evolved from Swadloon to anchor the team was clearly insufficient. When it came to who was most suitable as the main carry for a bug-type team, aside from Beedrill, which he had already ruled out, one figure, the only answer, had already surfaced in Kairos's mind. It had to be Volcarona. It had to be Volcarona. This was the most perfect bug-type Pokémon in his mind, perhaps even the only bug-type that could match the strength of pseudo-legendary Pokémon. In the real world, if he remembered correctly, there didn't seem to be any Elite Four or Champion-level trainers in this world who bred Volcarona. In the real world, if he remembered correctly, there didn't seem to be any Elite Four or Champion-level trainers in this world who bred Volcarona. Thinking about it, this made sense. After all, their understanding of Pokémon was far inferior to players from the original games and real world, and bug-type was quite an unpopular type. Plus, Volcarona's pre-evolution, Larvesta, was extremely rare, so probably most people didn't even know Volcarona existed. But Kairos knew that once he demonstrated Volcarona's power to viewers in the game, trainers would likely start noticing and breeding it, but that was all for later. Besides the main carry, a proper team definitely needed Pokémon for type coverage. When it came to the types bug-type Pokémon feared most, aside from flying, it was undoubtedly fire. These were two extremely common offensive types, and also fears practically carved into bug-type Pokémon's bones. For fire-type Pokémon, the optimal choice in Kairos's mind was Araquanid. Araquanid had an extremely powerful ability, and with its excellent water/bug dual typing, it had broad offensive coverage while being a reliable physical attacker. Moreover, its special defense base stat was quite high, even far exceeding Dottler's evolution or Beetle, and could play a crucial role in certain situations. For dealing with flying-type Pokémon, a familiar figure immediately flashed through Kairos's mind. If you asked who was the second strongest bug-type Pokémon besides Volcarona, it would undoubtedly be Scizor. Actually, putting these two in a tie wouldn't be wrong either. Scizor had excellent typing, powerful base stats, and the Technician ability, combined with Swords Dance and the priority move Bullet Punch, made for quite terrifying power. Aside from fearing fire, this guy could be considered a perfect bug-type Pokémon, right? And the Araquanid just mentioned could undoubtedly help cover that weakness. With this thought, Kairos shook his head slightly. Araquanid's pre-evolution Dupiter required players to learn Surf before encountering it on certain water surfaces. As for Scizor's pre-evolution Scyther, while the wild encounter difficulty was lower, it would still have to wait until after the Electric Gym. So for now, he'd tentatively planned to catch these two Pokémon to supplement his team. Speaking of which, if there were any other bug-type Pokémon besides these two that Kairos felt were worth adding to the team, then there was one very interesting choice. He wondered if anyone in this world had discovered that Pokémon's special qualities. Thinking of this, Kairos couldn't help but smile slightly. 10 minutes later. With his current team composition, even the rock gym could be easily cleared in one go, so the roadside NPCs and that Team Magma member who stole Devon Corporation's documents were naturally even less worth mentioning. Kairos steamrolled his way through, easily heading to the cave tunnel in the upper right of the gym. After helping the Devon Corporation member retrieve their luggage and Old Man Pico's wing owl, he returned to Devon Corporation to complete the dialogue, obtained the Pokénav to contact NPCs, and began systematically sweeping through all of Rustboro City under the stream viewers' watchful eyes. His actions were incredibly skilled, with clear objectives and not a single wasted step. Potions, Great Balls, HM01 Cut, Quick Claw. Item after item was successfully obtained by Kairos, and the stream chat began discussing. Is Rustboro City the streamer's hometown or something? Why does he seem so familiar with it? I hereby declare the streamer as the newly appointed treasure hunting king. Holy crap, there's an NPC hiding in that spot who gives items? I'm impressed. As the stream audience discussed, seeing every item in Rustboro City fall into his pocket, Kairos finally controlled his character to head toward Petalburg Woods. Seeing his actions, some viewers immediately became anxious, with chat messages flooding in. "Don't rush off, streamer. What about the Megastone? Yeah, go to that little room on the left, donate money to that old guy, he'll give you good stuff. Streamer, you took everything else but not the most valuable thing." However, seeing these messages, Kairos shook his head and smiled slightly. "No rush, let's wait a bit longer." His team currently had no Pokémon capable of Mega Evolution. If he went to that man, he would randomly receive a Mega Stone for some Pokémon. In Pokémon Ultimate Emerald, each battle only allowed one Mega Evolution opportunity, and in the late game, even roadside NPCs would Mega Evolve their Pokémon. This meant his team needed at least one Pokémon capable of Mega Evolution, or he'd naturally be at a disadvantage. If he randomly got a Mega Stone for a non-bug type Pokémon, that would be a waste. And most critically, among bug type Pokémon capable of Mega Evolution, there seemed to be several choices like Pinsir, Heracross, and others. But Kairos knew clearly that there was really only one choice. That was Mega Caesar. If Volcarona could reach pseudo-legendary levels, then post-Mega Evolution Caesar could truly be called the Bug God. So he'd wait until after catching Scyther to get the Mega Stone. However, Kairos didn't explain this to the stream chat. Instead, he went directly to the small room in the lower left of Petalburg Woods, took the Whalmer Pail and trademark Bullet Seed. He also went through the small path on the left to find a Pokeball in the grass above it contained trademark Tailwind. When leaving the house, Kairos didn't forget to grab the berries growing in the soil before diving into Petalburg Woods. He opened his bag to use the TMS, teaching Beautifully Gust, giving Bullet Seed to Swadloon, and having Wimpod learn Cut. Then he began cutting down trees on the right side of Petalburg Woods to enter the unexplored area of the forest. At this moment, watching Kairos's series of actions, the stream chat couldn't help but start discussing. "Ah! There's actually a path above that flower shop. Holy crap, the streamer's game pace is way too fast. It hasn't even been 2 hours, and he's already gotten this far. Feels like he's really gonna cover in one morning what takes other streamers 3 days. One morning for 3 days of progress? 1 hour for my 2 days of progress. I bought this game 2 nights ago and I haven't even gotten this far yet." Obviously, this streamer has watched Cynthia and Iono's recordings, otherwise, how would he know so many game mechanics? He even knows exactly where to find item rewards in Rustboro City. Probably checked strategy guides on forums, too. Just wait, he won't be this smooth in the late game. Is the streamer really not taking the Megastone? Not even reading chat. When Norman's Mega Kangaskhan beats him up later, he'll regret it lol. The stream's popularity kept rising with various discussions, but by now, almost no one questioned whether Kairos could complete the All-Bug Team Challenge, because his performance had been simply too impressive. At this moment, Kairos obtained the Miracle Seed that boosted Grass-type moves and some miscellaneous rewards in the Petalburg Woods passages, then directly left the forest without rushing into the Old Chateau. The Pokémon in the Old Chateau were all level 30+, so now obviously wasn't the time to go. Even if he entered, he'd just get beaten back to the Pokémon Center and lose half his money. Having not lost a single battle since starting the game, Kairos naturally couldn't accept such a huge financial loss. Besides, he'd only placed a Rotom deep in the Old Chateau as a reward, and with his current All-Bug team, there naturally wasn't room for Rotom, so there was even less need to rush there. Thus, riding Old Man Pico's boat, Kairos successfully arrived at the next gym's location, Dewford Town. Upon disembarking, he immediately approached the fisherman on the right to initiate dialogue, successfully obtaining the old rod. While there were few bug-type Pokémon that could be caught with fishing rods, he just remembered that Araquanid was one of them, maybe he could get it early. If he could train up Araquanid before challenging the Fire Gym, fighting the Fire Gym would be much easier. Conversely, if not, facing the Fire Gym with an all-bug team would probably be quite difficult. Chapter 128 Just a random encounter. As for Scyther, Kairos figured he'd just have to find another chance to catch one later. After sweeping through all the available resources in Dewford Town, he dove straight into Granite Cave. After talking to the hiker at the entrance, he obtained the Flash trademark without issue. Honestly, having this move didn't make much difference to him. He already knew every dark cave and hidden corner in the game like the back of his hand. These map layouts were faithful recreations of the originals. Still, with so many viewers watching, he had to at least make a show of using it. Granite Cave was filled mostly with rock-type Pokémon, which should have been disadvantageous for his bug types. However, on his journey to Dewford Town, Kairos hadn't been slacking off. He had battled plenty of roadside trainers and wild Pokémon. Suidle had already reached level 20 and evolved into Swadloon. The new grass-type move it learned, Mega Drain, became a powerful weapon against rock types, letting Kairos move through the cave smoothly without any obstacles. His navigation efficiency was so high it almost looked rehearsed. Even in total darkness, he never bumped into a single wall. Naturally, this sparked another wave of discussion among the viewers. I was wondering why he caught that Suidle. Turns out it's for this cave. How many times has this guy played this game? He's walking through like it's his own house and didn't even use flash. While chat buzzed with speculation, Kairos had already collected the fossil from a nearby platform and reached the area controlled by Team Magma. Those grunts offered no resistance. After all, if he could steamroll Roxanne's gym, these NPCs were no challenge at all. After clearing out most of Team Magma, Kairos reached the lowest level of the cave. According to the game, this was the area that extended to Regirock's resting place. The livestream chat immediately erupted. He's finally here. Go down, I want to see that legendary cutscene again. Time for the classic moment, the legendary's overwhelming presence. Streamers going too fast. Can he be the first one to actually awaken Regirock? I want to see what it looks like live. Most of the viewers had already seen the Regirock cutscene in other streams or clips. But watching it live always felt different. The sound, the timing, the atmosphere, it gave off a pressure that recordings never could. Many people specifically joined new playthroughs just to relive that scene. But then something completely unexpected happened. Kairos glanced at the ladder leading down to the lower level, and turned around. The chat exploded. Wait, what? You're not going? There's a legendary down there. He's seen it before, hasn't he? Did he get scared last time and doesn't want to go through that trauma again? Ignoring the flood of question marks, Kairos continued moving his character back while speaking calmly. To awaken the Rock Titan, don't you need to collect a bunch of valuable stones to charge up its formation? He paused, then continued, if that's the case, why rush down there now? I'll come back when I've gathered enough. The chat fell silent. Wait, that actually makes sense. True, going now would just be sightseeing. Come on, just take a look anyway. Amid the protests, Kairos left Granite Cave. After speaking with Steven, he obtained a Sunstone. For his bug-type run, it wasn't useful for evolution, but it could later help awaken Regirock in this save file. According to the game's logic, Steven's stones were of exceptionally high quality and could accelerate the altar's energy charge. After collecting it, Kairos healed at the Pokémon Center and headed straight for Dewford Gym, cutting through the trainers with Beautifully. Beautifully had reached level 22 and learned Air Cutter. For the fighting types in this gym, it was practically a death sentence. In just a few minutes, he cleared all the trainers and stood before the gym leader, Brawly. By now, the stream's viewership had climbed to 100,000. Only then did everyone realize he'd already reached the second gym. The chat lit up again. This gym isn't easy, right? Can Beautifully really sweep it? Didn't you see how he destroyed Roxanne? Who knows anymore? Brawly's team is strong though. That speed boost Combusken, that Makahita, and most of them have fire-type moves. This might be rough. True, and he can't just set up Reflect either. If he wastes a turn doing that, Combusken will use Swords Dance and cancel it out. He might get swept. Yet, I don't believe he can one-shot his way through this. Kairos glanced at the fast-scrolling comments and smiled slightly. If he had to name the easiest gym in the entire run, it was this one. Difficult? No way. This was a freebie. He stepped forward and started the battle. The match began with Beautifully on the field, the core of his strategy. As predicted, Brawly led with Combusken. Here it comes. Swords Dance, Baton Pass, Speed Boost, and even a Focus Sash. This combo is ridiculous. If the streamer doesn't handle this well, he's done. I'm stuck on this part myself. Tried training rock types, but they get one shot by fighting moves. Yet, even a sturdy Guay dude can't survive. Double kick just deletes it. If he can't set up walls, I don't know how he wins. While chat was analyzing, Kairos instantly selected his move Air Slash. Beautifully moved first. Its wings flared, forming a cutting gust that struck Combusken head-on. Beautifully used Air Slash. Critical hit. Super effective. Combusken's HP dropped straight to 0. One hit KO. The chat went wild. One shot. Even with a crit, doesn't it have a focus sash? Yeah, I remember Cynthia's stream, she used fake out just to break that sash. As Brawly switched to his next Pokemon, Kairos caught sight of the comments and raised an eyebrow. In the original Ultimate Emerald, Combusken didn't have a held item. He had left it that way when designing the game. Apparently, Cynthia's misunderstanding had made viewers think otherwise, spreading the myth that it held a focus sash. Still, it wasn't a bad idea. If Combusken had a focus sash, even a super effective move wouldn't stop it from setting up Swords Dance and passing the buffs through Baton Pass. That actually made sense. He'd fix that after the stream. Unaware of the trouble their speculation had caused, the chat kept buzzing as Brawly sent out his second Pokemon Hariyama. Kairos didn't hesitate. He used Air Cutter again. The sharp wind sliced across the battlefield. It wasn't a critical hit, but the next message surprised even him. Hariyama flinched. He had only meant to chip away at its health, not expecting a flinch. With that advantage, the rest was easy. A second Air Cutter finished Hariyama off. Now Brawly was down to his last Pokemon, Makahita. Beautifully was still in perfect shape, only missing a few PP. The outcome was obvious. Just to play it safe, Kairos switched to Butterfree and used the classic Sleep Powder and Supersonic combo. 2 more Air Cutters later, Makahita fainted. Victory music played, and the chat finally caught up. I just got here. Didn't everyone say this game was hard? Why does it look so easy for him? He beat the gym leader faster than he cleared the NPCs. Funny how a fighting-type gym lost to an all-bug team. You're laughing, but you couldn't even beat Combusken. Some viewers soon noticed something else. Wait, he cleared the second gym in under 2 hours. Not even 1 hour and 28 minutes. That's insane. He might actually finish the new story content in a week. At this pace, he could set a speedrun record. No way. He just got lucky with a crit and a flinch. True, but I have no idea how he'll handle the electric gym. That last comment caught Kairos's eye. It was a fair point. Beautifly's weakness to electric moves like Thunderbolt would be hard to work around, and by then, the NPC's Pokemon would all be near level 30. Beautifly's stat advantage would be gone. But Kairos wasn't worried. If everything stayed easy, the challenge wouldn't mean anything. A real challenge was what made the game and the stream fun. Chapter 129, All the Way with Sparks and Lightning. Just then, a comment quietly slid across the screen, catching Kairos's attention. Speaking of which, why hasn't the streamer encountered Team Rocket yet? Shouldn't they have shown up by now? Kairos's character movements paused as he began to think. If players didn't choose one of the starter Pokemon, they would indeed encounter Team Rocket not long after the beginning, and the battle difficulty would far exceed that of rivals. But because of the bug-type Pokemon start, players wouldn't benefit from the rule that starter Pokemon have fixed base stats above a certain threshold, otherwise there would only be a few options. Bug-type starts focused on rapid development and precise planning of move coverage. To give players more breathing room when facing rival challenges, Kairos had specifically delayed Team Rocket's appearance time in the settings. He moved his character onto the more open sandy ground, this was Slateport City. And according to the storyline, Team Rocket should be arriving now. As if to validate his words, the game screen suddenly switched. The bright sunlight and sound of waves were replaced by gloomy tones and the abrupt villain entrance sound effects. 2 figures wearing the iconic R uniforms struck exaggerated poses, blocking his path. What followed was the familiar opening line. Prepare for trouble from the skies. Seeing this scene, many viewers immediately began commenting. Ha ha ha, here we go, here we go. My favorite episode. This is way too late, but better late than never. Give the streamer a good lesson. Go streamer. These guys are pretty tough too. While the chat was discussing, Jesse and James finished reciting that line burned into their DNA, and the game entered the battle interface. One of them threw out a Pokeball first. Team Rocket member appeared. Jesse sent out a cans. Butterfree, confusion. Kairos chose Butterfree to battle and directly gave the command over mic, he'd gotten so used to playing the original version that he almost forgot his game was quite intelligent. The next moment, Butterfree's huge compound eyes suddenly lit up with deep blue light, an invisible psychic force struck Awakens like a heavy hammer. Super effective. Awakens let out a pained hiss, its body trembling violently as its health bar visibly dropped by a large chunk. As a counterattack, it spat out numerous poison stings, but they barely dented Butterfree's HP. Once more, confusion. A new turn began, and the second confusion hit precisely. Awakens wailed and collapsed, losing its ability to battle. Jessie recalled Awakens. James sent out coughing. Butterfree, confusion. Coughing. Kairos's voice was completely calm, still using the same move. Just like that, Team Rocket's Pokémon, including that Meowth, were easily defeated by Kairos in just a few turns. The smug expressions on Team Rocket's faces froze, turning into disbelief, and finally they ran off with their classic wail of "We're blasting off again." The chat was instantly flooded with amazement. Holy crap! Team Rocket got beaten that fast too. Why does it feel like no matter what the streamer fights, he can counter everything? So bug types have this wide of move coverage, really learn something. Brothers, speaking of which, can bug type Pokémon in real life learn moves of so many different types? Don't the various type energies conflict? The chat had begun frantically discussing the possible performance of bug type Pokémon in the real world, while Kairos inputted commands, making his character crouch down and carefully spray medicine on the injured Butterfree, his fingers gently brushing over its slightly damaged wings. Butterfree, you did great. His voice carried warmth. Several bug-type Pokémon affectionately surrounded him, beautifully danced happily, Swadloon sat on his back, Dottler's shell glowed softly, and even the timid Wimpod approached Kairos more confidently, creating an efficient yet heartwarming scene. With his status fully restored, Kairos continued forward. However, after just a few steps, a new challenge was waiting at the crossroads. His rival jumped out first. Time for consecutive battles. This was exactly why Kairos had immediately restored his status. He knew 2 consecutive battles awaited him. But the difficulty was basically non-existent. Rival issued a challenge. Kairos didn't even glance at his opponent's Pokémon and directly sent out Dottler. Reflect. Dottler let out a short, firm cry, and a massive semi-transparent energy wall shimmering with rainbow hues instantly rose from the ground, spanning across one side of the field. 5 minutes later, the rival's Combusken, just like Brawly's, was left helpless by a single air cutter and utterly defeated. As for Paul, he was beaten and ran off in even fewer turns. Kairos seemed to win easily, but those watching the chat could see that the main reason was Dottler's dual screens being too overpowered in the early game. Dual screens are eternally godlike. Dottler is the real team core, ha 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 ha. I need to emergency retrieve my Pineco from storage and start training it. Screen God. Amen. If the second evolution is this useful, I can't even imagine what the final evolution will be like. +1, this thing is too broken. Feels like you could slot it into any team, even non-bug ones. Watching the chat discussing Dottler, Kairos moved his character toward the Slateport market while speaking up. Strictly speaking, Dottler is the team's screen setter. In the late game, to ensure it can get at least one screen up, it could even carry a focus sash to guarantee survival. That makes sense. Really learned something here. Another wave of comments flowed by, and the online viewer count in the top right corner jumped wildly. Under the double stimulation of Team Rocket getting steamrolled and the consecutive battles being easily resolved, the stream's viewer count boldly broke through the 150,000 mark. At the same time, various flashy gift effects began filling the screen. Kairos glanced at the soaring numbers, feeling relatively unmoved internally, as the panel only he could see quietly appeared. Shock points plus 1,400. 1,400 shock points wasn't much, but it was getting better. As for the mission requirement of 500,000 viewers, that seemed genuinely difficult to achieve. But compared to these points, what was obviously more important was the mission reward. His gaze fell upon the mission panel. Mission requirement: your livestream online viewer count exceeds 500,000. Mission reward: mysterious S-rank special system item box X1, 5,000 shock points random advanced module X1. S-rank special item box, and an advanced module 2. Wonder what good stuff he'd randomly get after completing this mission? Kairos couldn't help but feel a bit excited. After organizing the system missions and his goal to reach 500,000 viewers, Kairos took a deep breath and refocused his attention on his journey. The Hone adventure had, until this moment, barely begun. He operated his character along the coastline and quickly arrived at the impressive Oceanic Museum. However, the atmosphere inside wasn't one of academic tranquility, but rather one of tension. Team Aqua members, wearing dark blue uniforms with logos on their chests, were confronting the museum's researchers and security guards. This was naturally part of the game's storyline. Team Aqua had come to steal submarine blueprints. "Kid, this isn't a place you should be." A Team Aqua member rushed straight at him. Team Aqua member appeared. Team Aqua Grunt A sent out Carven Ha. Battle triggered instantly. What happened next was naturally without any surprises. Kairos easily cleared out all the Team Aqua members, since his bug babies had grass-type moves and could effortlessly handle these water types. What followed proceeded according to the storyline. The Team Aqua leader appeared, and Steven came to the rescue. After this key plot sequence finished, it was time to cross the bridge. Kairos left the museum and stepped onto the magnificent long bridge connecting two cities. Originally, according to the game's plot, there would be a rival battle here, but since the beach battle had already concluded, there was naturally no reason to encounter it again. The trainers on the bridge were now eager to battle. Youngster sent out Zigzagoon. Butterfree, sleep powder. Kairos's command was concise. Shimmering powder scattered, and Zigzagoon struggled a few times before falling asleep. Air Cutter. A storm swept through, easily finishing it off. Fisherman sent out Whooper. Butterfree, continue, Air Cutter. Whooper fell. Kairos proceeded forward, with NPC trainers on the bridge challenging him one after another, only to be quickly defeated under his efficient and precise bug-type attacks. When facing slightly tougher opponents, Kairos would use Butterfree's sleep powder for control and Beautifully for cleanup, occasionally rotating in support, making his progression as smooth as a textbook. The chat evolved from initial amazement to somewhat teasing daily check-ins. "Damn, this streamer mows down NPCs like cutting grass, no entertainment value at all. Bug-type speedrun, don't you get it? Efficiency is life. Look at this clearing speed, tell me it's not satisfying. Butterfree and Beautifly's moves look so cool, I think I'm falling in love with bug-type Pokemon. Guy above, are you really in love with bug-types? You're just drooling over their power level, aren't you?" Kairos still didn't interact with the chat, just focused on operating his character forward, occasionally quietly encouraging his on-screen partners, "Well done, Butterfree. Beautiful attack, Beautifully." Through efficient and calm progression, the vibrant, electric silhouette of Movily Gym finally appeared on the horizon. Kairos dove into the Pokémon Center, went to the flower bed on the left to grab the grassy terrain trademark for Swadloon to learn, then charged straight into the electric gym for his third gym battle. When he stepped through the gym doors, what appeared before him wasn't a traditional battle arena, but a complex maze constructed of countless flickering electric gates. Electricity crackled along metal walls, with blue arcs occasionally jumping about. For ordinary players, this maze would be thoroughly disorienting, even Cynthia had taken quite a while to successfully navigate it. But Kairos's expression showed no change whatsoever. His fingers rapidly tapped the keyboard, and his decent person avatar shuttled and turned through the maze corridors, avoiding meaningless dead ends and precisely finding every switch that needed pressing. His movements flowed like water, as if the maze map was already etched in his mind. Comments floated by. "The streamer's pathfinding, he's definitely cheating, right? I saw other people stuck on this maze for over 10 minutes, the streamer got through in under 3 minutes? Ridiculous. Bug-type speedrun player, maze speedrunning is also a required course." Soon, Kairos passed through the final electric gate and reached the maze's core, the final battle room where gym leader Watson awaited. In the center of the room stood a short, plump elderly man with wild grey hair, wearing work overalls and suspenders, with an extremely cheerful smile waiting there. Seeing decent person appear so quickly, he seemed somewhat surprised, first staring wide-eyed in amazement, then bursting into his signature booming laughter. "Wahahaha! Interesting! Very interesting!" Watson's laughter thundered through the electricity-filled room as a series of prompts appeared. "You know what, young man? I actually wanted to further renovate Movily City, turn the entire city into an electric wonderland full of vitality. But seeing how everyone was already used to city life, I could only put my time and those crazy ideas into this gym, creating this electric gate maze. He curiously leaned toward the screen, as if trying to see the expression of the person on the other side. So how did you get here? You cracked my masterpiece so quickly? Wahahaha, smart young people like you are rare. Right up my alley. The laughter subsided as Watson's expression became serious and full of fighting spirit. He stepped back and assumed a battle stance. Then, as the Movili gym leader, Watson. Let me get a good look at your strength and feel the power of electricity. Wahahaha. Gym leader Watson issued a challenge. With stirring music playing, the screen went black as the game instantly entered the battle phase. Watson sent out Electabuzz. The next moment, a muscular orange Pokémon with power cables wrapped around both arms and a tail like an electrical plug appeared. It clashed its fists together, sparking brilliant electrical flashes. Its level clearly dominated Kairos's team, a whopping 25. More critically, viewers all knew that in its move pool was Fire Punch, super effective against bug types. The chat instantly tensed. Holy crap! Electabuzz. It has Fire Punch. The streamer's bug squad is hard countered, both electric and fire, how's he gonna fight this? Watson, you old schemer, reading the team comp perfectly. Leading with the ace. Are all the NPCs in this game this ruthless? This is, actually pretty tough now. Chapter 130 Opened the wrong wall? I did that on purpose. After all, since he had made the game himself, Watson's move was naturally within Kairos's expectations. In fact, he had done it on purpose. As the first turn began, before Dottler's pixel model had even fully appeared on the field, Kairos had already made his choice decisively, selecting the move Reflect. The opposing Electabuzz also launched its attack, its arms igniting with brilliant flames as it punched Dottler square in the body. Super effective. Even with Dottler's excellent durability, taking a level-suppressed punch like that cost it a whopping 3/4 of its HP. At the same time, Kairos's first turn action immediately confused many viewers. The previous gameplay had given everyone a deep understanding of Dottler's role. It didn't matter if Dottler fainted, since its sacrifice could give teammates damage reduction for a full 5 turns. But the problem was, anyone could see that Watson's team was obviously all specialized in special attack moves, yet Kairos had actually used Reflect. This move only reduces physical attack damage. The chat started buzzing with discussion. Did the streamer click the wrong move? Should we restart? Since the streamer has played through and done his homework before, he should know that Watson's team has Thunderbolt as their highest damage output. Why didn't he use Light Screen to reduce special attacks instead of Reflect to reduce physical attacks? And streamer, why didn't you send out Swadloon to set up grassy terrain to override electric terrain? You can't have learned that move for nothing, right? The streamer isn't trying to be greedy, is he? But even with Light Screen up, there's no way to survive another Flame Punch. Since Kairos's plays had always been flawless, now that he finally seemed to make a mistake, quite a few chat messages naturally seized this opportunity to start questioning him. However, just as the chat was expressing doubt, the new turn had already begun. The opposing Electabuzz moved, its fists suddenly bursting with raging flames. This second punch slammed hard into Dottler's body. Even with Reflect's damage reduction, Dottler's remaining sliver of HP was taken away completely, failing to successfully set up Light Screen. However, Kairos seemed to have everything under control. He simply pressed the voice interaction key and said to Dottler, "Good work." Then without hesitation, he sent out his new Pokémon Butterfree. This Electabuzz seemed to have quite high speed stats, and with the level advantage, it was even faster than Kairos's Butterfree, moving first. As the turn began, Electabuzz slammed a punch hard into Butterfree. Even with Reflect's damage reduction, the super effective damage still took away a full half of Butterfree's HP bar. When it was Butterfree's turn to act, brilliant silvery white powder immediately scattered as it flapped its wings, falling on Electabuzz's body and causing ZZZ symbols to appear above its head. Butterfree used sleep powder. Electabuzz fell asleep. Right after that, as the next turn began, Kairos habitually followed up with Supersonic, causing the sleeping Electabuzz to become confused while applying 2 status conditions. At this moment, the chat began discussing. Confusion plus sleep again. That familiar feeling. The streamer really hasn't changed at all. But this time the situation is different. Even with double status conditions, how is the streamer going to win? Watson's strongest Pokémon haven't even appeared yet. But now Butterfree only has half HP left, and Dottler didn't even get Light Screen up before fainting. I say the streamer should just restart. There's really no way to see how to win right now. Streamer, if you can still win this, I'll eat my hat. I told you the streamer definitely couldn't one-shot the electric gym, haha. However, as the chat was being pessimistic, Kairos suddenly made a move that no one expected. As the new turn began, he directly switched to beautifully. This turn, Electabuzz continued sleeping. This sleep powder had pretty good luck, making Electabuzz sleep for 3 consecutive turns. But according to status condition rules, he should definitely wake up next turn no matter what. When the move selection screen popped up, all the viewers suddenly noticed that Beautifly's move list seemed to have a new move they'd never seen before, Silver Wind. And this was exactly the move Kairos selected this turn. The next moment, as Beautifly flapped its wings, brilliant silver light burst forth, rushing forward to engulf Electabuzz's body. Silver Wind had a listed damage of 60 points. Even with stab same type attack bonus, against an Electabuzz with higher level than Beautifly, it wouldn't deal very high damage, just barely taking away a bit over 1/3 of its HP. Feeling the attack, the sleep symbols above Electabuzz's head immediately disappeared as it jolted awake from its slumber. At this moment, the chat started flooding again. I thought the streamer had some master plan, but it's just switching to Beautifly to do chip damage. It's over. You should have used light screen earlier. Electabuzz's special attack is just as high as its physical attack. Beautifly definitely can't survive a thunderbolt boosted by electric terrain. The streamer's about to lose 3 Pokémon time to restart for real. You could say that using Air Slash against the fighting gym was as satisfying as using it against the electric gym is frustrating, haha. Yet, next time the streamer should just honestly set up light screen and think of something else. At least there'd be some chance. However, while the chat was frantically discussing, Kairos remained silent. His gaze was fixed intently on Beautifly's figure on screen, as if waiting for something. Indeed, the electric gym was quite difficult to handle. After all, Watson's team quality far exceeded any previous gym leader, and both Beautifly and Butterfree had type disadvantages, so clearing this gym required finding an alternative approach. If the key factor for clearing Pokémon Ultra Emerald was first the player's skill, then second place would definitely be the player's luck. Sometimes, the same operation under luck's influence could bring completely different outcomes. Kairos took a deep breath, moving his mouse to the close window button in the upper right corner. Looks like he'd need to try a few more times. However, the next moment, whoosh! A rainbow-colored radiance suddenly burst from Beautifly's body. Such brilliant and sudden light change naturally caught the attention of viewers in the live stream, with lines of chat messages rapidly scrolling. What's happening? Streamer's Beautifly, is it about to Mega Evolve? No way, didn't the streamer not even get a Mega Stone? How could it evolve? Hard to say. Look at how Cynthia can evolve without a keystone, right? Maybe the streamer and this Pokémon have a bond that's reached unimaginable levels. No wonder the streamer seemed so confident this round, turns out he was hiding such a trump card, holy crap. However, seeing the chat messages flying everywhere, Kairos couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth slightly. This world's people's understanding of Pokémon seemed even more sparse than he had imagined. They didn't even know about Silver Wind's additional effect. Silver Wind Bug-type move, special attack category, with only 60 power. Generally, no Bug-type Pokémon would bother carrying it. After all, there's the superior Bug Buzz with a whopping 90 power. This move was at best used as an early game transition skill. But besides that, Silver Wind actually had an additional effect. When using this move, there's a 10% chance that all stats will increase by 1 stage. A move with the exact same effect was Ancient Power. A 10% chance honestly wasn't particularly high. 1 chance in 10 uses, definitely not something you could call practical. But in a game like this where you could retry countless times after failure until you succeeded, this was undoubtedly an overpowered early game move. Because once Silver Wind's additional effect triggered even once, this Pokémon's strength would receive a comprehensive, massive boost, all stats increased by 50%. And if it could trigger twice, this battle would undoubtedly be completely steamrolled. You have to understand that even Dragon Dance, such a powerful boost move, only increases a Pokémon's speed and attack by 1 stage each. And Kairos's luck this time was obviously excellent, triggering Silver Wind's additional effect on the very first use. At this moment, along with the rainbow light on Beautifly's body, beams of different colored light began rapidly flashing around its outline. What followed was a series of notifications. Beautifly's speed rose. Beautifly's attack rose. Beautifly's Amid the string of boost notifications, the chat had already started spamming question marks. Kairos took this opportunity to directly explain Silverwind's additional effect to them, while also clarifying his strategy. Watson's team all have Thunderbolt, a high power move. If I just set up walls to reduce Thunderbolt's special attack damage, even surviving 4 turns wouldn't mean anything. Besides, with Electric Terrain's boost, that damage would be completely overkill anyway. And Electabuzz's physical attack moves are quite powerful too. Without Reflect, neither Beautifully nor Butterfree could survive its Flame Punch. So I had to change my approach. Instead of passively taking hits, I needed to actively attack. Given the current team situation, the only chance of victory is having Beautifully use Silverwind to boost all its stats, then rely on Beautifully to sweep the team. As Kairos spoke, the opposing Electabuzz groggily woke up from the Silverwind attack. As the new turn began, he unhesitatingly gave his command again. Beautifully, Silverwind. With the speed boost from earlier, Beautifully naturally became the first to move. Silverwind, which had previously only taken away less than 1/3 of Electabuzz's HP, now had significantly increased power with the 1-stage special attack boost, directly reducing Electabuzz's HP to critical levels. Unfortunately though, this Silverwind still left Electabuzz with a tiny sliver of HP. The next instant, as if to vent its anger at being attacked, Electabuzz roared and sent brilliant lightning crashing down from above, striking hard at Beautifully. Given this game's NPC intelligence level, Watson naturally knew what kind of move to choose in this situation. He abandoned using the physical attack move Flame Punch and instead used an electric type move that was super effective against flying types. Electabuzz used Thunderbolt. The super effective notification quickly appeared as Beautifly's HP bar began rapidly falling. And this time, there was no Reflect to reduce the damage. With Electric Terrain's boost, this move's power reached a shocking and terrifying level, instantly blasting Beautifly's HP bar to critical levels, putting it in the same precarious state as Electabuzz. Seeing this scene, the chat in the live stream started refreshing. So Silverwind has this kind of additional effect, learned something new. But even though the streamer got lucky and Beautifully got all stats boosted by 1 stage, it still feels like he can't beat Watson, since he still has so many more Pokémon. Yet, feels like just triggering once isn't nearly enough. You'd need at least 2 consecutive triggers to work, but with only a 10% chance, that's way too low. Are there any math majors who can calculate the probability of 2 consecutive triggers? Can't really calculate it precisely, but I feel like the streamer would need to restart at least 10 times to encounter that situation. Oh well, at least having a chance to win is already pretty good. Hard to say what if it keeps not triggering? Everyone's blood pressure would go through the roof. However, as the live stream chat discussed, Kairos looked at their conversation and his mouth curved upward slightly. Everyone, Beautifly's attack power, even with 1 stage of boost, indeed can't one-shot opponents that aren't weak to it. But if it's now, the situation is completely different. The next moment, on the game screen, a brilliant brown radiance suddenly surged from Beautifly's body, directly boosting its presence several times over. Along with it came a dazzling notification. Beautifly's Swarm ability activated. Its bug-type moves received a significant power boost.
Thanks for listening.